This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Monday, September 15th, 2025, and here are today's stories. In Cameroon, corruption is fueling the seizure of indigenous land, with homes torn down, sometimes with government approval, to be sold or rented to foreign buyers, leaving families displaced. Over in Guyana, a massive offshore oil boom is creating new wealth, but questions remain about who benefits, protecting the environment and avoiding over-reliance on oil. Fishing in Gambia isn't just a job, it's a way of life. But overfishing is threatening both the livelihoods of local communities and the health of the ocean they depend on. Meanwhile, at Turtleback Zoo in New Jersey, visitors are getting hands-on with sharks and stingrays, feeding and touching these fascinating creatures. Have you ever noticed online prices mysteriously changing, or friends scoring better deals than you? Experts say it's part of a growing trend called surveillance pricing, affecting everything from flights to shopping. And in Fuerteventura, Spain, papayas are more than just tasty. They're packed with nutrients and beloved by locals for their health benefits.
Corruption is fueling the seizure of indigenous land in Cameroon, with homes torn down to be sold or rented to Chinese buyers, often with government complicity. UNN Field Messenger Mohammed reports on the human cost of this growing injustice.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Gubau, Field Messenger for United Network News in Cameroon, Africa. I showed you some months ago a plot of land which is in front of where some Chinese are making up a factory, and the usual trend is going on. Today, just before dawn, bulldozers appeared with the armed military wing of the police, they call gendarmerie, and they bulldozed all the dwellings of more than 100 people and left. And you can see the ruins. The people are trying to recover their clothing, their special items from the debris. And not so long in the future, you're going to see that this piece of land, after they've removed the local inhabitants, is going to either be rented or sold to the Chinese. Usually, they do this and allow the space to grow into a forest first before handing it over. But this time, they are in a hurry. They want to remove the people very quickly so that they can hand over the land. This is real piracy using the law. This was Mohammed Gubau, Field Messenger for United Network News, Africa, Cameroon, Africa.
Guyana is experiencing an unprecedented economic boom thanks to its massive offshore oil discoveries. This newfound wealth has some potential to transform the country, opening up opportunities for growth and development like never before. However, challenges remain in making sure the benefits reach everyone, protecting the environment, and planning wisely to avoid becoming too reliant on oil in the long run. The discovery of oil in 2015 transformed Guyana's economy, with GDP soaring from $4.3 billion to $16.8 billion by 2023, according to the World Bank. Massive offshore reserves in this Stabroek block, an offshore oil reservoir estimated to hold more than 11 billion barrels of recoverable oil, have made Guyana one of the fastest growing oil producers in the world. Daily production reached 645,000 barrels in 2023, surpassing Ecuador's output and attracting major investors like ExxonMobil, Hess Corporation, and China National Offshore Oil Corporation. This small nation of under 800,000 people has shifted from an agriculture-based economy to a global petroleum powerhouse.
How is it possible for a country's economy to grow almost 50% in just 1 year? I'm here in Guyana, a country with the fastest growing economy in the world for 5 years in a row. The country became an oil producer 5 years ago. In that time, it's undergone a transformation, trying to lift an entire country out of poverty. People here feel like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It's absolutely important that Guyanese not only benefit from the oil and gas revenues as they are, but they have a real stake in the industry. And yes, if they find a real stake in this industry, more will remain here.
Now, many people in parts of Alberta know what it's like to live through an oil boom. Here, it's on another level, from one of the poorest countries in all of South America to striking it rich. There is construction everywhere: roads, bridges, highways, hospitals, utilities, and hotels. The economy grew 44% last year. That's right, 44% in just 12 months.
We're at net zero. We're not in a position where we're creating a set of environmental issues. So to say that we shouldn't produce more oil, I will not agree. We in Guyana have suffered for decades now to develop our economy.
There have been growing pains like labor shortages, traffic congestion, and rising prices for many products and building materials. Semi-trucks on the highway are running 24/7, hauling sand and rock to job sites.
What we have going on in Guyana is so tremendous and so transformative. A small population and even a tinier labor force cannot support what we are being faced with.
The hope is to make big investments now while also building up a sovereign wealth fund so there's enough for future generations. A tall task for most governments, no matter the size of the oil bonanza.
While the economy is booming, not everyone is feeling the benefits. The World Bank reports nearly 48% of the population is living below the poverty line, earning less than $5.50 a day. Rural areas, especially those in the interior, continue to struggle with limited access to basic services like healthcare and education, while urban regions benefit the most. Also, challenges like weak governance, corruption, and poor management of oil revenues are holding the country back. Wealth remains concentrated in the hands of a few, and organizations like Transparency International have raised red flags about how oil profits are being handled. Guyana, for instance, ranks 87th on the Corruption Perception Index with a score of just 40 out of 100.
The constant assault on the rule of law, repeated human rights violations, untamed corruption, open racial discrimination, routine extrajudicial killings, and the mismanagement of the economy have combined to make Guyana the most autocratic state in the Anglophone Caribbean. While billions of dollars pour into the government coffers, thanks to the oil windfall, the country's poverty rate has risen to one of the highest in the region.
In October 2024, the government announced a cash payout of 100,000 Guyanese dollars, which is around $478, to every citizen 18 and older, including those living abroad, as part of its plan to distribute its growing oil wealth. Funded by oil reserves, the payments aim to provide quick financial relief, whether for essentials, small business ventures, or home improvements. The deadline for distribution was set for June 30th, 2025. While many see this as a welcome boost for families and communities, others are worried about the potential for inflation and argue more structured, regular cash transfers might be a better way to ensure the wealth is shared fairly. Guyana stands at a crossroads. Its oil wealth holds the promise of lifting millions out of poverty and driving rapid development. But the risks of mismanagement, inequality, and environmental damage loom large. How the country handles this moment will determine whether oil becomes a blessing that builds a prosperous future for all, or a curse that leaves many behind. In Gambia, fishing isn't just a job, it's a way of life. For generations, fishermen have built their lives around the sea, relying on it for food and income. But now, overfishing is threatening this deep bond, putting both their livelihoods and the ocean's health at risk. With fewer fish to catch, these communities are stuck in a tough spot, trying to preserve their traditions with the urgent need for sustainability. The fishing industry has always been essential for coastal communities in Gambia, but things took a turn in 2017 when the government lifted a ban on industrial fishing, opening the doors for foreign companies. Soon after, Chinese investors set up fish meal factories along the coast. At first, this seemed like a good thing. New jobs, a stronger economy, and more opportunities for locals. But the downside quickly became clear. With industrial trawlers in the mix, local fishermen now face a harsh reality. Fish stocks are shrinking, forcing them to travel farther into the ocean just to find a decent catch. They're also competing with massive foreign vessels equipped with modern technology, which makes fishing even harder for their small wooden boats. As the fish supply dwindles but demand stays high, prices have soared, putting even more pressure on the fishermen and their communities.
These 3 Chinese fish meal factories on the coast of the Gambia are limiting the coastal population's access to its main source of protein. They are located in West Africa, a region rich in fishery resources. But these factories are depriving local artisanal fishers of their catch. Why? Legal and illegal industrial trawlers are overfishing the area, mainly driven by factory demand. In 2016 alone, one of these factories grabbed 40% of the Gambia's fish catch. And since then, the factories have continued to expand, forcing young artisanal fishers to migrate and leaving the local population without their main source of protein. Where does all the catch go? After the factories process it, most of the resulting fish meal and fish oil goes to China, where it's used in livestock and aquaculture feed. Back at home, local activists fight to keep their fishing tradition alive.
These fish meal factories are being blamed for overfishing young fish and encouraging illegal practices. Local resources are running out fast, and fishermen are feeling the squeeze. Conflicts at sea have become more common, with foreign vessels violating the 9 nautical mile zone meant for locals, often coming as close as 5 miles to the shore. They use unauthorized gear, damaging the nets of local fishermen, which are expensive to replace, especially on already tight incomes. The Gambian Navy struggles to enforce regulations due to limited resources, and offenders are rarely penalized.
This is the map of the Gambia. The Gambia is a very long country, but not wide. Our neighboring country is surrounding us like this, which is Senegal. And the Gambia is a very small country inside Senegal. and we rely on the sea, actually. So all here is this ocean, and this is the river inside. Fish is coming from the ocean. When they want to have babies, they don't do it inside the ocean. They will come and get inside the river. This is the place that we need to secure the most. And this is the exactly place that the Chinese fishing trawlers will come at night and then steal the fish. So you will see them when it is exactly 8 o'clock in the night. You start to see their light small, getting bigger and bigger, coming closer, going down, fishing in the place which is very, very, very much illegal for them to fish.
To boost local earnings, the government requires foreign vessels to hire 20 to 30% Gambian crew. This has caused tensions, with local fishermen targeting these local workers by burning or damaging their boats. More than 20 attacks involving explosives have been reported in the last 2 years, injuring many. Since 2010, at least 11 Gambians have died in maritime conflicts, while foreign crews often escape accountability. With all these struggles piling up, many Gambian fishermen are being forced to leave behind their traditions. Some are selling their boats, unable to compete with industrial fishing. Others are turning to illegal migration, risking their lives on dangerous journeys across the Atlantic or Mediterranean in hopes of starting over in Europe. It's a heartbreaking situation for communities that have always looked to the sea for their survival.
Amino acids play a vital role in maintaining your overall health and well-being. Not enough amino acids and protein daily can result in brain fog, hormone imbalances, digestive issues, cognitive function, lack of energy, lower immunity, decreased muscle strength, and much more. That's why we created our amino acid complex, packed with 21 free-form, easily digestible aminos that skip the breakdown and go straight to work energizing your mind and body. Used by athletes, vegans, and high performers. New Earth's amino acid complex helps your mind and body recover, rebuild, and renew daily. Subscribe now and optimize your life.
Hello, I'm Susan from Sweden.
Mwanda Michael from Eastern Uganda, Africa.
Hi, I'm Tim from Vancouver, Canada.
I'm Titeshwar Thalgaon from Manipur State, India. I'm Gumba Obasi from Southeast Nigeria.
Arnaito Chakrini from Western Uganda, Mbarara.
At United Network News, you are the news.
My name's Christina, field messenger, report first one in the hurricane down here in Southern California from Mexico.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. At UNN, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Jason from United Network News. We're going to be doing some aircrete building with new technologies that allow us to live in comfort and also off the grid.
Take the next step in changing the way the world gets the news. Become a UNN field messenger today.
I am Michelle from South Africa, and we are the United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
If it is going to be, then it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Si va a ser así, depende de mí. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN.
At the Turtleback Zoo in New Jersey, visitors can get up close and personal with sharks and stingrays at the Touch Tank exhibit. UNN Field Messenger Amy shares what it's like feeding and petting these gentle sea creatures.
Hi, Amy reporting for UNN from West Orange, New Jersey. Today I'm at the Touch Tank exhibit at the Turtleback Zoo. Here they have an epaulet shark and a cow-nosed stingray that you can touch and feed. The epaulet shark can be found in the tropical waters of the east coast of Australia and New Guinea. The adult can grow to almost 3 feet long. They get their name from the black spots behind each fin. These spots resemble the epaulets or ornamental shoulder pieces found on military jackets. These sharks actually can use their fins to walk along the ocean floor. In the touch tank are also cow-nosed stingrays, and they get their name because their head looks like the nose of a cow. Their teeth are strong, flat plates, so they can crush through the shells of their prey, like oysters, clams, snails, and crabs. They can be found in the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean, from New England to southern Brazil. The adults can be almost 3 feet wide. They move through the water by flapping their fins in a continuous wave-like motion that propels them gracefully through the water. They lack an air bladder, so they need to keep swimming to stay afloat. They rest by becoming still on the sea floor and burying themselves in the sand, but always remain alert to their surroundings. They protect themselves with a barb, which is a venomous spine on their tail that has backward-facing serrated scales to help it lodge into flesh. Their tails also are used for maneuvering or steering and as camouflage or burying themselves in the sand to hide from predators. Today I purchased these pieces of anchovies at the exhibit to feed the rays myself. Before you can feed or touch the rays, you have to rinse your hands off in a sink in the back. No soap. Just be aware that the water at the sink smells like the water they are swimming in, and even after you get home and scrub with soap, the smell will still linger for some time. To feed the rays, you can cup your hand around the piece of fish, and the rays will come and eat it with a sucking motion. You are allowed to touch them, but only with 2 fingers like you see here. They feel slimy, soft, and rubbery. It was much fun to feed the rays at the touch tank. Sometimes they start sucking on your arm instead of the food. They are so gentle. What a great and fun experience. I hope you enjoyed this report. See you next time.
Have you ever shopped online, closed your browser, and then returned a few hours later to see the price mysteriously changed? Or maybe a friend bragged about scoring a great deal on the same flight you booked, except they paid less. These aren't coincidences. They're the result of a growing trend known as surveillance pricing, sometimes called personalized pricing. Instead of offering one fixed price for everyone, companies now use the mountains of data they collect about us, our browsing history, shopping patterns, even the movements of a computer mouse, to tailor prices in real time. It's like stepping into a marketplace where the price tags aren't set in stone, but shift depending on who's looking. On the surface, this sounds like the ultimate customization. Businesses meet you where you are and offer prices designed just for you. But dig a little deeper, and you'll see why this practice sparks heated debate. Is it a smart way to give shoppers personalized deals, or a high-tech form of price discrimination that leaves consumers guessing who's really getting the better end of the bargain?
Surprise, surprise, companies have figured out a way to secretly charge you more than others, and it's becoming a lot more common than you think. Something could be the same product, the same website, and yet a completely different price based on you. A company may look at your location, purchase history, browsing behavior, even weird stuff like your mouse movements or the items you almost bought but left in your cart, all to determine how much they think you should pay. Are you shopping on a Mac versus a cheaper Android, or are you in a more expensive zip code? Your prices might look higher. Is your battery low right as you need to book an Uber? Prices might be higher because they know you're desperate before your phone dies. Did you just Google doctor appointments and flu symptoms? Maybe you start seeing higher prices for flu medicine and masks because of that. Because all that data, your location, your behavior, your urgency, can quietly change the prices that you are shown.
For businesses, surveillance pricing offers a clear advantage. By tailoring prices to individual data profiles, companies can capture more revenue from shoppers willing to pay premium rates while still attracting bargain hunters with lower deals. It also allows them to test customer reactions in real time, refining strategies, and staying competitive in a crowded marketplace. For consumers, though, the experience is more complicated. Surveillance pricing may deliver targeted discounts, but it also raises concerns about fairness, privacy, and trust. Discovering that someone else paid less for the same product can damage brand loyalty, and the heavy reliance on data collection sparks questions about just how much surveillance is too much. Regulators, including the Federal Trade Commission, are starting to investigate these practices, but safeguards have yet to catch up, leaving shoppers in uncertain territory.
And integrate SDKs in mobile apps that collect data even outside of the original platform to create the most accurate profile of you that analyzes all your shopping behaviors in order to exploit you. And like we've seen, sometimes that exploitation might result in a better deal, but other times it's just downright diabolical. I know what you might be thinking. How is this legal? Well, the answer to that is similar to many shady online business practices. It's pretty easy to get a consumer to consent to having their data tracked like this, so long as you hide the fine print behind very sophisticated or harmless jargon. Like, no one wants to read all the information regarding cookies on a website. Most people just click accept and move on. But if you do end up reading further, you can actually see what these companies are getting from you. For example, when I go to RuneScape.com, shout out old school RuneScape, I'm immediately hit with the cookies consent. And if you go over to the statistics tab, you can see all the websites that are collecting the information from this website and how they're using it on their website. Of course, they're not going to say, and not legally required to say, this information may be used to take advantage of you in your most desperate states. They're going to say, the intention is to display ads that are relevant and engaging for the individual user and thereby more valuable for publishers and third-party advertisers.
U.S. lawmakers are starting to crack down on surveillance pricing. The Stop AI Price Gouging and Wage Fixing Act of 2025 would ban companies from using personal data to set individualized prices, require more transparency, and give the Federal Trade Commission authority to enforce rules. At the state level, California passed the Fair Online Pricing Act, which blocks businesses from tailoring online prices based on consumers' traits or browsing histories. Both efforts reflect growing concern from Congress, regulators, and consumer advocates that surveillance pricing crosses the line from convenience into exploitation. There are some simple, practical steps you can take to protect yourself from surveillance pricing. Avoid using shopping apps whenever possible, as they often track your behavior more closely than websites. Instead, shop on a desktop browser and use incognito or private browsing mode to reduce personalized price targeting. Clear your cookies regularly and limit the personal information you share with retailers.
Papayas are the superstar fruit of Fuerteventura, Spain, packed with nutrients, easy to digest, and great for your health. UNN Field Messenger Emma shares why this tropical treat is a local favorite.
Hi, my name is Emma. I'm a field messenger for United Network News. I'm reporting from Fuerteventura, Spain in Europe. This report is going to be about the papaya fruit from Fuerteventura. Fuerteventura is known in Spain for their papaya fruit. I remember being with a friend at the large market in Alicante on the mainland Spain. Suddenly I heard somebody shout out, "We have papaya from Fuerteventura, come and buy." When we live here, we almost take it for granted. Papaya trees are funny looking sticks with leaves on the top and fruits growing from the stem. It can grow from 3 to 6 meters, which is 120 to 240 inches. The fruit normally weighs like half a kilo to 2 kilos, which is 1 to 4 pounds, but they can get really big, like 6 kilos, which is 13 pounds. The color of the fruit is green or yellow, orange-ish. The inside is yellow or orange, with black bitter seeds in the middle. The papaya contains 80.8% water, around the same as melon. Melon has 92%. It contains a lot of energy nutrients like vitamin C, vitamin B, folic acid, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iron. And you can use both the leaves, the fruit, and the seeds of the papaya. Some people think that the real value is in the papain, which is an enzyme that resembles the pepsin in the gastric juices that we can get from the leaves and from the unripened fruit. The ripe fruit just has a small amount of papain, and papaya is really easy to digest and helps to digest other food. It's really good for digestive issues, and it activates digestion. It can neutralize stomach acid, ulcers, acid reflux. It's good for gall issues, gallbladder problems, skin issues like provitamin A. The papaya seeds have also been used for clean out parasites and worms. They're very bitter, and they can be mixed in a smoothie with papaya fruit. They should be mixed with a binder. A study from Japan shows that the unripened papaya can prevent growth of a bacteria. It can therefore hinder the development of many digestive infections. They highly recommend papaya for contagious diarrhea. It's like the papaya digested a bacteria. In tropical areas, the papaya is viewed as the perfect breakfast because it's easy to digest and full of nutrients and lots of water. It has a low sugar content. It's about 8%, sucrose, glucose, and fructose. Fuerteventura has the perfect climate for papaya. The papaya trees are fast growing, but a bit difficult to maintain. It does like a dry soil and a little bit of water every day. The roots don't go very deep and are therefore sensitive to strong sun, heat, and the wind. Hope you liked the report. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.